Thanks everyone for meeting with me on short notice. I hope that I didn't delay your breaks too much. If so, no worries, this won't take long. I just wanted to call a meeting to dovetail with the SharePoint announcement and wondering if everyone has had a chance to read it yet. Not everyone? Well, unfortunately it is bad news. We're going to be losing our most senior team member, Jane. She's being transferred to the enforcement team next week. And I have a second piece of bad news that wasn't announced on SharePoint. Our coworkers Sue and Tina have had their leaves extended and won't be back to the office working for at least until the beginning of next year. So we're going to miss Jane a lot, and we're already missing Sue and Tina, but Jane, be sure we're going to have a nice goodbye party for you, lots of food, and we'll miss you, but we're sure you'll learn great new things in your new position. So you must be asking yourselves why management made this decision when we're currently so short-staffed and can ill afford to lose another team member. Well, as you do know, the enforcement team had 6 trainees, and unfortunately only 4 of them have passed probation. So there's only 2 of those trainees left on their team. 2 of the trainees will be coming back to their old positions as assistants, and 2 will no longer be in the office. So both our team and the enforcement team were really in the same situation. We're now down 3 people, and the enforcement team, losing 4 and gaining Jane, is now down 3 people. So the logic in management's decision is that management wants to start sharing resources equally, so no one team is in a position of being so short-staffed. So it really is an equity decision. I think our mindset in our office, because we're functional, teams do different functions and we're really working towards the same goal, but we tend to sort of think about our own self-interest as teams. We're kind of islands unto ourselves, and I think we need to have a bit of a paradigm shift. I think we need to start thinking of ourselves not as islands, but maybe more like an archipelago, a bunch of islands joined together with a common purpose. And so it's important to recognize that we are all in the same boat, and it is important to make sure that resources are shared equally throughout the office. That still, though, leaves us in a tough situation. We're still down 3 people. And I want to encourage you all to give me ideas about how we can do the same amount of work with less resources. But we have come up with 4 preliminary ideas to survive during this period before Sue and Tina come back. The first thing that we're going to do is our lead worker has already agreed to take on a bigger caseload, and I'm going to take on some of his work so that he can afford to do that. Now, we've had some court dates where there's less than 20 cases on calendar, and we've decided to only send 2 caseworkers to court whenever there are fewer than 20 cases on calendar, instead of 3 workers. And that'll leave more staff back in the office to prepare their cases. And we need to cut back the expectations. We just can't do what we had been doing down so many people. So the expectation had been before, at 3 to 4 weeks before the court date, to reach out to people, interview them, get wage verifications from employers, tax returns, encourage people to file their income and expense declaration with the court and serve us with copies. We just can't do that anymore, and the expectation now will be to get the cases prepared 1 week before court with whatever documentation we have on file or whatever we can get in that short window of time. So there's one silver lining to this cloud, which is that one of the trainees who will be going back to her position as an assistant will be coming to our team to help us. And she will be reaching out to parties via email, asking them to file their income and expense declaration and serve us 3 to 4 weeks before the court hearing, and she'll be faxing wage verifications to employers. So hopefully by the time we touch our cases 1 week before the hearing, some of that documentation that we're used to having will already come back. But I'm sure you all have other ideas that will help us make it through this difficult time period. So please see me after your break, come to my office or send me an email. I'd like to hear whatever ideas that you have. And I do want to thank you too for all your hard work in maintaining positive attitudes during this difficult time period. And being willing also to sacrifice Jane for the good of the whole office. It really is a morale booster to that team, having lost 4 people at least to get one additional worker on the team. And who knows, maybe this is an opportunity for us to look at ways we can scale back and maintain our efficiency and do a better job with less. Thank you everyone for meeting me, and if I've delayed your break, please go on your break now.
Thank you, Jennifer. We still have half an hour before we get to break, but we get to give feedback to Jennifer for a minute. If you can give our feedback in the paper right next to you for a minute. More seconds. Thank you everybody for the feedback. Now if I can get timer report from Rita.
Yes, Jeffrey spoke for 6 minutes 26 seconds and Jennifer spoke for 5 minutes 52 seconds, so they both qualify on time.
Thank you. Now if you can give your vote for the best speech tonight, and our sergeants of arms will collect the vote. It's almost the time to move on to our next part of the meeting tonight, table topic, but before we do that, I have second method of meditating that I would like to talk about again. It's not very hard to start meditating and all of a sudden your mind starts flying around. You start thinking about the lunch, your dinner, your school, your work, and things like that. So it's very hard to concentrate on the breath that we did on our first practice tonight. For the second practice, and it must be easier for you to concentrate on the body parts. So that's why I want to introduce the second method of meditating. Again, I'll give you a countdown. This time, please focus your attention on one of your body part. You can start at the soles of your feet. How does your sole feel? Slowly you can move to your toes, the tops of your feet, your ankles, all the way to the top of your head. In my experience, to concentrate on your body parts is much more easier than to concentrate on your breath. So here goes the countdown, and after 2 minutes, I'll let you know. 3, 2, 1, start. Thank you, everybody. After this 2 minutes of calmness, please welcome Bob for the most interesting part of the